Okay, guys, welcome to another episode of On the Wrist from Off the Cuff. Today we have another cool review for you from the brand Erika's Originals, guys. So this is actually just for the strap. I am featuring it on this awesome titanium Boulder Venture, which I did review earlier, so definitely check the links in the history for that one. But this strap, this Marine National strap, has pretty much caught fire, guys. Everybody's doing them now. People are doing their own variations. Some people are doing straight up knockoffs off of Erika's Originals style. Because the original Marine National straps weren't quite this good, guys. They were never even meant to be. At this point, they basically are a luxury item, the level of quality, guys. I mean, Erika's actually made OEM straps for mainstream brands like, let's say, Bell and Ross, and they did a special edition collaboration. So that's the level of quality here, guys. You can buy a watch that costs a couple $1,000 and it's gonna have one of these straps on it from this maker, right? Just an example of something like that would be like Hirsch straps. They make these amazing straps, and then you get them as an OEM strap, let's say on a watch that costs a couple $1,000 also. Something like some of their Robbie straps, and they have like these sailcloth or these advanced straps, whatever, that you can buy for normally I think 80 to like $120 for leather strap. These are about 75 euro, so they're not the cheapest elastic strap option out there, but I think what we'll cover in today's review are going to be some of the reasons why they're the best strap option like this you can get. So with all that said, let's actually go ahead, get these in hand, and take a closer look. Okay, guys, so this strap is actually their Mirage Gray, which has changed a bit. It's actually a little bit darker, and depending in what light you're in, of course, under the bright studio lights, this is going to render quite gray, but I will tell you in person, it's a bit of a more dim gray. Almost can even look like a forest green in certain lightings. It might just be the orange contrast on there that kind of tricks my eyes, but this thing is an even better strap than the models that I've reviewed in the past, guys. And I've reviewed quite a few iterations as she's actually been developing the strap from the original model all the way up until now with kind of the new Marine National MN strap. So a little bit about the details here. We got 316 stainless steel for the hardware, really nice, and this is actually done in basically a patinaed finish there, like a worn working finish, which is great because one, it is going to wear really well, and also it's going to match. Although it's not bead blasted, it has a matte finish that is that does complement bead blasted finishes quite well, and also is nice enough and bright enough to where I'd say it doesn't necessarily have to be on a blasted type case. This would still look great on a brushed case, but you can also get brushed finish hardware or polished. You can even get custom laser engravings on the hardware, which I think I'm gonna have to do one of these days. So some little details that many people might not notice about this is you actually have two perfect sides here. So as far as the weave on here, typically what you'll see is a non-perfect side and a perfect side that's finished, because when these are produced, essentially, they're not in individual strands and bands. That would be the least, that'd be the worst way to make it if you were just making elastic bands and they weren't specifically for watches, right? So when somebody goes to the supplier, they're going to get one, and basically if one of the sides will be seemingly a little bit unfinished, but basically it's to hide the fact that they cut it to a certain width, right? Here, you're actually getting two perfect sides, perfectly symmetrical. And that's something that I have noticed on a lot of other straps that really, really bothers me when they do have the off side. And I think even her original straps were like that too, where they didn't have the perfect sides on each side. So this is something obviously that is quite widespread, but those little details, maybe you would have never noticed it, maybe it didn't irk you, but to have it not one-sided or slightly, I guess asymmetrical, it's definitely really nice. So you get those great round edges. It's harder for those to fray, of course. And it just stays nicely fitted, coming through these lugs. Now you also do have like 16 different centerline options as far as colors and whatnot, and then different color combinations. This is actually a custom spandex elasting core that's latex free, so it's stronger lasting and longer. Stronger and longer lasting. Basically, it supports even the most robust watches. So this actually feels a lot closer to the original Marine National material versus what you're finding out there a lot now is a much softer elastic, which a lot of people like. It's very soft. It's more stretchable. But what this more robust, it just makes it feel like this thing's gonna last a lot longer. It's just like, obviously elastic bands on things, they wear out, but this thing, there's just something about it that just feels like it's gonna last absolutely forever. And it's not to say that it's harsh by any means, but it just, you guys, I guess you have to take my word for it. You've seen how many different types of straps I've reviewed on my channel. So, hopefully you believe that I'm trying to steer you in the right direction. Obviously, I don't think this is in everybody's budget, but if you are interested in something like this and maybe you are just looking for some nuanced details that are going to help you justify the purchase, I'm hoping that this video can help you guys, because I'm absolutely enjoying this. And honestly, when it comes to kind of spending your own money for a strap, if you want the really, I mean, this isn't even a super expensive watch. This is actually what I consider probably one of the best cheap watches you can buy. This thing sets it off in every way, guys. So basically now they're an in-house. She's not, outsourcing the best materials for these. She's actually out there making it. So basically this is an in-house weave. They're using traditional methods on kind of state-of-the-art looms at the highest specs, right? So you can get really beautiful specifications and just an absolute gem of a product. And it's basically start to finish. Everything comes together because it was made to be a strap. It's not somebody going to a bunch of different suppliers and saying, hey, which one's going to work best for my application. She's from the ground up in the last 18 months of development time, from improving her original design to create something like this, which I think is very admirable. Everything, all these stitching, you see how nice that is. It's really good because it's hand stitched. Also there's, like I mentioned, as you have 16 centerline options. As far as the stitching goes, you get even more options. You got 19 colors and you get premium European yarn. So that doesn't mean anything to a lot of people, but it means a lot to some people. And this nylon, to me, it actually, it's more comfortable, and I wasn't sure what it was at first, but essentially, the more I kind of read up on the material, it's because this thing has a really good moisture regulation. So basically, the way that it's dyed and the composition of it and the weave really helps almost like wick the moisture away from your skin. So it almost wears bracelet-like versus strap-like, because of just the grade of quality in this material. So really, really nice. And the specifications are these are executed by a very small team of artisans, and everything essentially is done by this group and really handled with the utmost care. This is not a mass-produced product. This is a very fine, engineered and artisan finished product that ends up being really just great. And I mean, for a sports watch application, it just works, guys. So let's actually get this on wrist here. You can get a look. And one of the things also, because of the less, I guess, stretchy nature of this particular thing, it actually gives, I don't find myself snapping the band and this buckle coming around and slapping the crystal. That hasn't ever happened with this new strap. It happens a lot with like every other elastic strap. And it's just the nature of the beast because you pull the elastic, it has tension, and then it pulls. And those ones you can actually just pull, leave intact and pull over your even this big old ham fist of mine, and it would be fine. This definitely has, it's still stretchy and it still has give, but not to that level to where there's a bunch of tension. It actually rides quite, I don't want to say rigid, but it does have more structure to it, right? It feels like there's structure and not just a piece of fabric wrapped around your wrist. And it's still, of course, quite comfortable. Not quite as free feeling, but the way, I guess, like the nature of the way it interacts with your skin for me is a lot better. So as you can see on my 7¼ inch wrist, this thing wraps and wears well. You can look at the finishing there on the hardware. It does tie in beautifully to that blasted titanium finish. And this is a titanium watch, right? And it is meant to be worn on fabric straps. And the nice thing is, do you see how thin that is? So even though it's thin, it's super robust. This thing isn't gonna get ripped. This isn't gonna get, this is just gonna be, it's gonna be there for you. And it doesn't add a lot of height because it's just so slim underneath there. And it does have that, you know, single pass nature to it, which I think is really, really wonderful. And then you do have a little bit here that's reinforced because you got a double layer underneath, which is nice when you're resting your wrist or something like that. So this feels really, really good, guys. You know, again, you can customize it out the wazoo. This one I actually had the Boulder brand in mind when I had this spec'd, and that's why I wanted it in that kind of you know, that matte patinaed finish, because I knew they would tie in well here. And then also the orange accent, and then the feeling of almost like a bracelet, right? Because there aren't titanium bracelets just out there that feel good, look good, that match good. But I feel like this strap, though, somehow it just really, it takes it up a notch. And I guess there's a little bit of mystique there because, yeah, the Marine National strap has really gained quite a big following. And not just the Marine National straps from the days of old, which inspired, you know, Erika's Originals MN straps, but even her style and her design, her aesthetic that she's been able to kind of create. There's been a lot of other competitors that have come out and really garnered a lot of you know, fanfare for this strap. And it's cool that even now OEMs like Bell and Ross are coming out and making deals with Erika to produce straps for their watches. And, you know, and the places that carry her straps are not rinky-dink places. They're good, well-established strap dealers from that perspective too. And you know that they have a certain level of quality of products that they carry. So when there are dealers that carry these and they're these high-end dealers, it's pretty cool, you know. Like, it's not, again, it's not you know, some huge bang per buck thing, but I don't think luxury products rarely ever are about bang per buck. Yeah, can you get something that on paper is quite similar? You could, you know, but on paper, what's quite similar to this watch is something like a Timex, right? Quite similar on paper, but in the flesh, in the metal, in this case, in the fabric, it's a much different story, guys. So again, not too much to say. I have reviewed these straps in the past, and you know, I've always been a fan. I've reviewed variations, knockoffs, whatever you want to call them. I've reviewed Erika's take on them. I've reviewed other people's take on them, and this thing is just the finest executed one that's ever graced the channel, right? If another one does hit it and just knocks it out of the park, I'll be more than happy to update you on that with a review for that. But until then, this version of a Marine National style strap is just, I mean, it has it all. And because it does go underneath the case, it still retains the core functionality that if one of these spring bars fail, the band isn't broken. The bracelet itself, this band will still be around your wrist, and one of those bad boys, at least at a time, will be securing your watch to your wrist, right? And there are some, you know, guys that have really come out and innovated this style and made it loop in different ways and more complex ways. to where it doesn't even go underneath. But then if the spring bar breaks, guess what? The thing falls off, it's gone. In this case, not gonna happen, guys. So functionally, it does the job, and then when it comes to aesthetics and just execution and just level of craftsmanship and artisan levels of just finishing and just the components coming together, guys, this thing is fantastic. So for me, worth the money. But let me know what you guys think in the comments below. I'm sure there's some people that are going to say 75 bucks for an elastic strap seems like a lot, but there's also guys that think, $10 is too much for a strap, and or a nylon strap, let's say a NATO, right? And there's NATOs that cost way more, and there's leather straps that cost way more. People seem to be okay with paying, high dollar, 80 bucks to 120 bucks for leather or rubber straps, I feel like, that are high end, but the elastic strap hasn't quite got its time to shine. But if there ever was one that was in that luxury category, and not necessarily luxury in terms of bling, but definitely luxury in terms of capability and excellence in execution, Erika's original Marine National MN straps definitely offer you that. So let me know what you guys think in the comments below. If you like the video, please do it like. If you're not already, please subscribe for more content just like this. Thanks, guys.